Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the Dating is Hard podcast. I'm your host, Joe Welkie. For everything that you need to know regarding this podcast, you can head on over to datingishardcomedy.com. You can check out the Instagram at datingishardcomedy, and you can check me out on Instagram at Joe Welkie. If you could please like, share, subscribe, rate, and review. Give this bad boy a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. That'd be dope. I think we're at 89 reviews right now. Let's try to get to 100, please. If we could, that'd be awesome. Get 100 of those 5 stars. That'd be sick. This podcast is all about dating, relationships, sex, all that good stuff. We talk about it with a bunch of people that I don't know, and it's been a bit different because of the coronavirus, and I haven't been able to do the show how I normally would, which is meeting strangers off dating apps. But today, back to the scheduled program. I am talking to someone that I had no idea who it was, matched on Bumble, talking about the podcast. So she agreed to come on the show, and I am super happy about it. I hope you guys enjoy my chat with Caila. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Dating is Hard podcast. It's been a while since I've had a complete stranger on the show, and today we got another one. It was so much easier before coronavirus, and it was so much easier before I got banned from Tinder. But you are the first one in a couple months, so I would like to introduce to the show. Everyone, please welcome Caila to the show. Caila, how you doing?
I am good, thank you.
I feel like I should tell the story of the whole Tinder banning thing first. Tinder updated their terms and conditions recently, and I just got back on it to do this again. And apparently you can't ask people to be on your podcast anymore.
I mean, I have a few friends that have been banned from Tinder, and probably for things that are way worse than that. So
yeah, I know a lot of people that have been banned from Tinder for just posting their Venmo and stuff and being like, hey,
that's her.
Yeah. But so Caila and I met through Bumble. We met up about an hour ago. How's Bumble treating you?
Bumble has been better during quarantine. I don't generally use Bumble as much because on Tinder I wait for the guy to message me first, and I hate having to be the first one to message a guy.
That's what I found doing this podcast. As much as Bumble was supposed to be the women, you get to send the first message and you don't have to worry about creeps sending you cheesy pickup lines. It's a lot of stress because there's a time limit and you have so many matches to go through, and
I don't mind the cheesy pickup line from guys. I actually prefer getting a cheesy pickup line from a guy so I can know to match him right away. And I'm from Texas. I'm used to the southern way of things where guys are supposed to ask the girl out or whatever it is. And if you're gonna be a douche, I'd rather you just be it up front.
I'd rather know that you're a douche in the first message
before I send you anything,
as opposed to getting so involved. Do you remember any of the worst cheesy pickup lines or just worst first messages?
So that's the other thing about Bumble is Bumble allows you to send photos, and so sometimes I'll say hey, and then I'll just get a dick pic.
Nice, classic.
So that's the best. There's just the ones that are just hey, you wanna do you wanna come over? And it just a lot of you look your lips look like they suck good dick,
Jesus.
Stuff like that, just automatically off the bat, and you're just and next.
That's so that. So I always talk about how that blows my mind, and to have that insane amount of confidence and balls to send those messages and think that it's gonna work.
And it's not even that hot of guys. It's guys that you were maybe about.
Yeah. But then I also, on the other hand, I'm it has to have worked sometime, somewhere for guys to continue doing it.
Sometimes, though, they think it works, but it doesn't. So,
How so?
I have a lot of guy friends and like guy roommates and stuff, and sometimes when a guy sends something really inappropriate or disgusting, I'll give the phone to my friends to message. I'm surprised I haven't been kicked off of any dating sites from what I've let my friends message back to them, and they will go really far with really weird stuff.
Like what?
Like, do you, like, yeah, that sounds good. Do you mind if we invite it, like, if we get a ferret in there? I have a thing for ferrets. Do you mind if my friend joins? He's, like, really big and hairy, and, like, does that mean I still get to have sex with you? Yeah, well, then, yeah, that's fine.
I feel like you can't get kicked off of a dating app for that, because that would be, like, kink shaming. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Like, just some of the things, though, or, like, I once let my friend do Tinder for me, and he was, like, messaging, like, random guys, like, I fist on the first date, and I was just like, why are you saying that and associating it with my name? And he's like, it's fine, and people would respond to it.
Yeah, dude. There's guys that are probably into that, too. They're like, fist on the first date, I found my wife.
But, like, I don't know how they actually thought that was a real girl.
Yeah. Dude, there's some girls that, you know, you match with them on a dating app, and you're just like, even just some of the pictures that they're just like, you're not real. Like, I'm so suspicious of everyone being fake at this point that, I don't know. Even like with the podcast stuff, when I'm on there with a podcast, the other day I matched with a girl, and like, you saw my profile. It's all about doing this podcast. And this girl was like, hey, your podcast sounds like a lot of fun. I was like, oh, so you have some stories that you'd like to share on a podcast? And she's like, I got a lot of them. And then I was like, cool, you want to do the podcast? And she's like, oh, I didn't realize that, like, you were serious. I thought that you were just, like, fucking around about the podcast. I'm on here to date. I'm like, what the fuck? I feel like I couldn't be more clear about, like, what I'm doing here.
Yeah, that's completely true.
Yeah.
She obviously read it, though. I was about to say, sometimes you don't read it. Sometimes you're just in such a swiping phase. But
yeah.
Then, if, like, someone messages me back, I will go through and read their profile. Like, because sometimes I'll, like, match with someone because they're cute, and I'll match, and then they'll talk to me, and I'll go back into their thing, and it'll be like, I'm vegan, and I'm like, oh, God.
It's nice to see that on the other side, because every time I see vegan, I'm like,
Or they'll be like, my sign is this, and I'm like, next. Like,
there are dudes that do that?
Yes! I know that they're just trying to get a girl who's into it, too, but, like, I can't. I can't do it.
It's so nice to hear a woman that is not about that shit. So many. And it's always the same line where it's like, they'll have all of that zodiac shit on their profile, and then I'll be like, you don't really believe that, do you? And then they'll be like, well, I don't really believe it, but I just think it's interesting to, like, think about. And then it turns out it's like they have healing crystals and like all that shit.
I can't do pseudoscience.
Yeah, really?
I really hate pseudoscience.
I thought we were past that.
Or, like, I think, like, a few guys I've matched with before, like, something about, like I'm into natural or homeopathic, and I'm like, homeopathic means not medicine.
We've advanced so far in sciences that, like, how do you still believe that shit?
Or there was one guy that I was going to match with, and he was like, Corona's a hoax, and I was like, next.
Jesus. So have you gone on any actual dates during the whole quarantine thing, or is it mainly FaceTime stuff?
I've done 2 FaceTimes. They were both fine. One of them, like, we never talked again after the FaceTime, but it was so awkward.
The FaceTime was?
Yeah, it was just so, there were so many awkward silences. It was just not, it wasn't fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun at all. And he didn't seem fun. And then he had cats. And I'm just not a cat person.
Are you like woman me? I fucking hate cats.
I hate cats. I can't, like, if I see a cat in your profile, like, I will not match you. Yeah. And actually, on a morning show, they were talking about, like, what is the main turnoff for girls to, like, match with guys on like, Bumble and Tinder and everything. Like, 80% of the girls said a cat photo.
Really?
Yeah. Girls don't like that.
Girls don't like, well, I think that men
dads.
with cats are weird.
They are. I mean, like, one of my best friends has a cat, and he's great, and I love him, but, like,
you would never want to date him.
Yeah. Just trying to figure out a nice way to say that. But I'm not into cat guy. I like dogs.
Yeah.
Or no animals.
How was the other FaceTime date? Was it?
The other FaceTime date was fine, mainly because he just played guitar for me, and that always works with me. I hate being as predictable as I am with something like that. Like, we were watching Community today. I'm watching it for the first time, and there's the guy who plays guitar, like, and serenades girls on the grass, like, shirtless, and I was like, God, he looks like such a douche, but I would 100% fall for that. Like, that's who I am as a person.
Did you, like, have a follow-up date? Are you still talking to that guy?
We actually had a follow-up date, and it went really, really well. And then I said something about, like, how I've gone out and protested, and he went on a racist rant, and I never saw him again. So
wow. What was the racist rant? What?
Well, he was just like, he was very much like, they're just as racist against us. And I was like, ho, sir, I'm not part of that conversation. I was like, I'm really glad you told me this so I can just, like, never speak to you again. And I blocked him immediately. I was just like, I cannot.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to ask, do you think that it, like, with the first date about how it went poorly, do you think that it had to do with FaceTime? But obviously not, because you had the good date with the guitar guy. But then it turned out the guitar guy was...
a terrible person.
Was a racist, potentially.
Yeah.
At least hinting towards being super
enough
racist.
That I never wanted to speak to him again. Yeah.
How long do you think that you could, like, sustain a relationship over FaceTime? Because I know a lot of people on dating apps now are just like, I don't feel comfortable going out and meeting people. Like, how long do you think that could last?
I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I think it depends on, like, what your chemistry is, because I had this guy that I'd liked for a really long time, and we were only, like, we were introduced through a mutual friend, but we didn't live in the same state. So for, like, 2 years, we were talking on, like, FaceTime. Well, not FaceTime. I have an Android. But we were talking via video chat, and we were calling each other all the time. But because we knew we didn't live in the same state, and it was, like, different, we still, like, dated while we were talking to each other. So, I mean, I guess right now, if you're just not going out, it could work. But I feel like you have to have that common interest, or you have to have already met before. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it would be too tempting to just go out and meet eventually. If you're the type of person that's like, I'm not going out at all during coronavirus quarantine stuff, I feel like it'd be too tempting, because it's like, oh, this person lives 5 minutes away from me. I could easily see them, stuff's reopening, etc., to not meet them. But, like, if you're living in a different state, that option's not available to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's tough. What would a person have to do in order to get them to, like, you to meet up with them in person?
Well, I've been, like I said, like, protesting and stuff like that. So I already have been out, and I've been getting tested, which is a whole different meaning now than it used to mean in dating. Like, it's like, have you been tested? They don't mean about STDs. Which also is something I like to ask, if they've been tested for coronavirus, and if they're cleared, and how long it's been, or if they're an essential worker, because a lot of essential workers right now are being required to get tested. So I just trust it more. Or, like, have they just been quarantining this whole time and haven't left their house, or what's going on? In the very beginning, like, when I did meet up with that guy, I, like, was like, "Kid, like, what's your temperature?" Like,
you just bring one of those temperature guns with you, and just like,
yeah,
all right, you're good to date.
You're good to date. But I've just been careful with myself, and, like, try to not put myself in a more compromising position. I also live with 2 essential workers, so like, I feel like I'm at higher risk anyways. But
yeah, well, also, like, you don't want to bring it home.
Well, and I don't want to bring it to them,
and then they get it, and then they can't work or whatever.
And like I said, that's why I've gone, like, every week to every other week, and gotten the corona test, and, like, making sure I'm fine. I watch children, and, like, there was one day that I'm like, I think it's allergies. I'm, like, sneezing. And she's like, you're fine. And I was like, okay. And I'm just very cautious. Even if I don't feel well, because I know I haven't slept in like 3 days, I'll be like, I'm just going to make sure that this is just sleep. I'm going to take a long nap. And if I feel better, like, we can hang out. Like, it's just, I'm being very cautious with myself is more than anything.
Yeah, at the beginning of the, like, midway through March, like, I get bad seasonal allergies, and I started to get them. I was like, fuck, and everyone's going to think I have coronavirus, but I don't. And then I just started to get, like, my allergy medicine. And
we have a maid, and my roommate has like really bad seasonal allergies too, and she was just like, your roommate's sneezing, and I was just like, he has allergies.
That's not even one of the symptoms, though.
I know, she has kids. She was just freaking out.
That makes sense. Yeah. But yeah, I was like sneezing, and like I went to CVS to get stuff, and then everybody was giving me this eye, like, what the fuck's up with this guy? I was like, no, dude, my eyes are itchy. Like,
I was on a patio at a restaurant the other day with my neighbors, and I drank some water and choked on it and started coughing, and everybody looked at me like I had the plague. It's like, I'm just choky, guys. Don't worry.
Guys, don't worry. I'm dying differently.
It's not going to affect you.
So do you have any, like, when you're swiping on a dating app, right? What are some things that you look for that make you swipe right on a person?
Height.
Height? Well, how tall are you?
I'm 5'8".
Okay, so height's an important thing for you. Okay.
Because I'm fairly tall. I mean, I've dated guys that are shorter than me. So it's not like that big a deal, but I prefer them to be taller.
Why is that?
There's, like, women just prefer guys to be taller. They like to look up to them. They like to be able to wear heels without being taller than them. I think it's like we generally want someone, like, I think it's like that masculinity thing, and like if you're really attracted to that, then it's like, yeah, it's like this is a man.
Yeah. I got into an argument with a tall woman the other day about this. She was saying that, because I was saying what you're saying, where like it's like seen as manly to be tall or whatever, and it's feminine to like be small, or it's seen as feminine to be small, especially if you've grown up in like American society. And like all of my female friends would always talk about how they want to date a guy that's taller than them so they can feel small. But her thing was that she feels like men don't want to date tall women because it feels emasculating for them.
Yeah.
You think that's true as well?
I think that it can be, because I do think, like, yes, like being smaller than a man is feminine, but at the same time, like, some of the most feminine people in the world are like Victoria's Secret models, and they're all 5'10" or taller.
Yeah, they're tall as shit.
Modeling in general, and like I feel like you can see curves on a woman better if they're taller.
You think so?
I think so, because if you're like really short, or if you're at least mid height, because if you're like really short, it all kind of just clumps together.
I feel the opposite. I feel like if you're tall, you're like stretched out.
Well, no,
like,
but I'm
like
saying
squished down.
I'm saying
more
if you have curves. I'm not saying like if you're like a runway model, you don't have curves.
Yeah.
I'm saying, but if you have them, like Victoria's Secret's models have curves. Like a lot of them do, not all of them. But like if you have like really curvy women, like if you go to like Spain or like Italy, if you see a taller woman, you can see all of her curves. Like,
okay, yeah, because I had never considered that side of the argument before, because I was always like, I have jokes in my act about like women wanting to date taller guys, and I never considered the thing of like a woman feeling the pressure of like emasculating a guy that's shorter than her.
Well, it's why a lot of girls, if they're dating a guy who's their height or just a little bit taller, will not wear heels.
Yeah.
Like my mom is 5'10", and my dad is 5'11", and my mom like hardly ever wears heels.
I never considered that. It's also like it's never really come up as an issue for me because I'm like pretty tall, but I did date a girl that was taller than me, and I thought it was hilarious. It's like, this is awesome.
I went out with a guy for a while, and he was 5'7", and so he was shorter than me, but he loved it because he was really into long legs.
Oh, okay.
And, like, that's, like, the majority of my body. So he was just like, yeah, no, I love it. Like, it's fine. Like, he didn't feel emasculated at all. He actually liked when I wore heels.
Yeah, this girl, she has... I think she was attempting to get it. I don't know if she got it, but she was trying to get the Guinness Book of World Record for the longest legs.
Oh my God,
And
that's so cool.
it was... She was on the news and shit, like Inside Edition, trying to talk about it. So this was after we stopped dating, but I just thought it was funny because it was like, how rare would it be to find a woman that's 6'5" and then date a woman that's 6'5"? Like, that was so cool to me. But there was other things going on. It wasn't like the height. It was just like we just didn't really match too well.
Yeah, no, I get that. See, and, like, even though I'm actually a fairly tall girl, I don't feel that tall because, like I said, my mom's 5'10". I have cousins that are 6 foot that are girls, but then my two biological sisters are, like, a foot shorter than me, I swear. Like, no, they're, like, 5'2", 5'3", but...
Well, that's like my sister's 5'8", but my mom is 5'9", my dad's 6'2", and I'm 6'4". So she's, like, tall compared to all of her friends, but she would say that she would post, like, family photos with all of us, and all of her friends were like, why are you looking so tiny? Like, you look, like, so huge compared to us. She's like, that's just my fucking family, dude.
Yeah, I look really short next to my mom, but I'm not short.
Yeah. So height's a big one.
Height,
Any other
yeah.
things that you're like, okay, this is...
If you're cute and have a cute dog, I will definitely swipe right on you.
Cute dog, all right.
A cute dog. British or Irish or Scottish accent.
Oh, okay.
Or Australian accent.
Okay, so speaks English but with an accent.
How
often do you come across that here?
A lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went to Portugal last year, and, like, every guy there was just unbelievably beautiful. And so if you can't really tell if they're really cute, if they say that they're Portuguese, I'll swipe on them too.
Was their accent hot?
Yeah, I mean, I thought so, but I could have also, I don't know, because I was just so distracted.
By how hot they were?
Like, they all had, like, colored eyes, but, like, really tan skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, like, dark hair. It was good.
It's all Cristiano Ronaldo type
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
He's Portugal, right?
Yeah, and then I don't know his name. Love Actually, the hot guy that she hooks up with. He's in something else, and I can't think of it right now. Oh, well.
Yeah. All right, so foreigners, tall foreigners with dogs.
Yeah.
That's it. Do you have any, like, specific deal breakers? If you see it, you're like, fuck no.
Smoking.
Oh, smoking. All right.
Not weed. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Cigarettes.
Cigarettes are so fucking gross, dude.
They're so disgusting. I have no desire to kiss anybody with a...
Oh my god, thank you.
It's disgusting.
It's like kissing an ashtray. It's so gross.
So gross. And then they smell like cigarettes all day. I can't.
I dated a girl, and every once in a while she would smoke a cigarette, just, like, out of stress, like, one every month or so. And I always knew. I always knew. Because I'd be like, you smell like a cigarette. Did you smoke a cigarette today? She's like, Jesus Christ. I took a shower and everything.
No, it's disgusting.
Well, I just don't understand it, too, because of all of the science that's out there about how bad it is for you. And there's so many things out there that are bad for people that I don't understand why we're still doing it. Smoking tops the list.
Now, I've only seen this, like, twice. But if they are wearing a MAGA hat, I will definitely swipe left.
Well, yeah, especially in LA. I feel like that's not too common.
Yeah, but I've seen it, like, twice here. But, and then, like I said, if I see that it says vegan, I will swipe left.
Have you come across, and this is something that I've seen on a lot of women's profiles, say, like, if you have this, don't bother. Are there a lot of guys with, like, dead animal, like, hunting pictures on dating apps that you see?
No.
Okay.
I don't see a lot of that. If they're, like, hunting, like, deer in, like, an overpopulated area or, like, wild boar in a place like that, that's not necessarily a game changer for me. Now, if they're, like, hunting, like, endangered species in Africa.
He's got, like, a rhino head.
Yeah, I would never. But, like, I grew up with family that hunts for like reason, and they use the whole animal and like all of it. They don't waste any of it, and like I'm okay with that. Like, I mean, we'd eat it, they put it in the deep freezer, all of that, but I am not okay with hunting for game.
Yeah.
Like, for just fun, not okay with that at all.
I figured that you would feel that way being from Texas. But I've talked to a couple people, like, even on this podcast, they're like, there's just loads of guys with, like, pictures of, fish or, like, dead animals, like a deer carcass. They're like, check it out, I got this deer carcass.
What's wrong with a fish? They probably ate it.
Dude.
I also have, like, I scuba, and I have friends that scuba, and they'll go, like, deep sea fishing, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you, don't you need a license for scuba or something?
I took a class in college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I used to date a girl that was, like, really into scuba, and she was trying to be, like, a scuba
instructor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, my friend who's a scuba instructor, him and his girlfriend both do, like, deep sea fishing, and they'll only catch, like, one fish, and then they'll eat off of it, and, like, I get it, like, if these people are like, okay, I'm against it because I'm, like, vegetarian or because I'm vegan, but if you, like, eat fish and you're against someone, like, catching a fish, then you're just like, okay, well, if they're eating it, that's exactly what you're doing. You're just not killing it yourself.
That's true.
That being said, I would be a vegetarian if I had to kill my own meat.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
100%.
So, I would be a vegetarian if I had to kill my own just out of laziness.
I can fish, though. I've fished before.
Yeah.
But I can't, like, skin it or do any of that. They have to do it themselves.
Yeah.
Like, somebody else, like, I caught a fish. I was so proud of it. I named it, and it was going to be my friend. And then my cousin used it to catch a bigger fish that we ate later.
Like, that's a bummer. Yeah, if I had to, like, kill my own chicken, I couldn't do that.
No, me either.
Yeah, fuck that. But since we don't have to, all the chicken in the world.
Exactly.
So have you been on any, like, what's the best date you've ever been on?
Best date I've ever been on from an app or
Hold
just
on.
like in...
In general, what's your idea of a great first date?
A concert.
A concert?
Yes.
Why is that?
I love live music.
Do you think that you could get to know the person that way, though?
Well, yeah, you could get drinks before or after or something like that, or you could get there early and, like, hang out. Probably the best date that I had was a concert.
Who'd you see?
I saw Postal Service.
Whoa, throwback.
Yeah, and this guy worked for, like, Warner Brother Music, and so he got us these really good seats and backstage passes. I mean, we didn't meet them, but, like, the backstage area where, like, the celebrities would go and stuff. So we got there early, we got a few drinks, we went and sat, we definitely got to know each other, and then we had this amazing concert. It was a really good first date. That guy ended up being a total douchebag, but
I mean, that's a baller ass move to be like, first date, guess what, backstage pass to see a band. That's awesome. He probably, yeah, but well, what happened?
Date 4, we went to his me and my roommate at the time went to his house to hang out with him and his friends, and he tried to sleep with my roommate.
What? How was he just like, oh, cool
when
nice
I was sleeping, because we drank, so we stayed the night there. So I was sleeping with her, and then she got up to go to the bathroom, and like he was like, oh yeah, it's through my room, and he closed the door and tried to sleep with her, and I could hear him through the wall.
What was he saying?
He was just like, I could tell that she's into my friends. They're more hipster, and I know she likes that kind of thing. It's okay. Like, I really want you. Like, I liked her until I met you, and then I really just wanted you. Just was all over her. And she's like, she's, like, right there and my best friend, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I can't help it. I'm so into you. And she's like, get away from me. But then I let her continue seeing him for the tickets. She was not interested.
Were you into him at that time?
Well, yeah, until then.
Oh, yeah, obviously. But were you like, this is going somewhere, and then you heard that shit going on, and you're like, oh, what the fuck?
I kind of did think it was going somewhere, but it may have been the music hookup.
That'll blind you.
That, and he was a Cowboys fan.
Oh.
And I'm from Dallas.
Well, that'll blind you as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So your friend was like, you were like, you're gonna fucking see that guy. Well, what concerts did you see after that?
Oh no, she went to like one concert, and then he like we were getting separate apartments, and so she was looking at another apartment. He went with her, and like he was like being all creepy, and so she's like stopped. Yeah.
That's wild. That's wild as fuck.
It's great being a girl. It's so interesting.
Oh god.
Or I was with my friend on a Bumble date in Portugal, because we went to Portugal together. And she was like, okay, come with me to see this guy. He has a yacht. It's going to be great. So we went on the yacht with him. We went and had dinner with him first. We didn't just get on his yacht.
Yeah.
And he really does own like a yacht business. And looks like he took us out on his yacht. It was super amazing, and she was into him. And then when she went to the bathroom, he tried to kiss me. And I was like, you're here with my friend. And he was like, oh no, I want both of you. And I was like, yeah, we're going, like, take us back to the shore. Like, and he was like really drunk, and we're like, no, just go back, we're done. It's over.
Are you allowed to? I don't think you're, well, at least in America, you're not allowed to operate a boat if you're, could you have gotten like a DUI?
I mean, I'm sure he could have. Yeah, he had a whole he had a bottle of rum that we drank at least half of.
What do you think the procedure is? Now, let's say the guy wasn't being a creep, okay? Let's say, like, the music guy, the WB music person. Let's say you guys both spent the night and nothing creepy happened, and then the next day he was like, hey, I'm not feeling this anymore, and I actually feel like me and your friend kind of hit it off. Would you think that'd be a skeezy move, or would you be more like, let me ask my friend if you're into it?
You know, if we had seen each other again when we did see each other with my friend, and if he would have been like, you know, after meeting your friend, I actually just felt a connection with her and I like her more, I would have probably been like way cooler with it, especially because my friend and I both were poor during that time, and we were using dating apps to buy us food.
Ugh, scum.
Actually, our landlord thought we were hookers because we had so many men coming to our door.
We're like, look, we share a one-bedroom apartment. We're obviously not hookers, and if we were, we'd be really bad ones.
Dude, I'm worried about that too. Like my last apartment, when I was doing this podcast, sometimes I would have like 2 people come in during the day just to be like, okay, cool, thanks for doing this. I have to go. Like, I'm meeting another person to record the podcast. And it'd be like 2 different people per day. And I wonder if my neighbors were just like, this fucking guy.
Neither
Jesus.
one of us had a car at that time either, so they always had to come pick us up.
Oh my God.
And so we had guys coming to our door, but they weren't coming in.
Yeah.
Like, they were just picking us up. But no, if he had been like chill, I would have probably been fine. So, because during that time, like I said, we matched with a lot of the same guys because we had similar look.
Mm-hmm.
And we had gone on dates with the same guy.
Oh, you had?
Fine. Yeah, she was like she is still one of my best friends, and we were just totally fine with it. Like, we're not those girls that are like, I dated him, so you can't date him. It's like,
yeah,
if you have more chemistry.
See, I always found that to be true. Like, if you're dating somebody and then, you know, you meet their friend and you feel more of a connection with them, I feel like it's a difficult topic to bring up, to be like, hey, like, I don't think, like, you're a really cool person, but I just feel like I had a better chemistry with your friend. I feel like that would, like, really piss the person that you were dating off, you know?
Yeah, but, like, I mean, is it really dating? It's like, I've always just, like, casual dated. I've had, like, one actual relationship ever. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's not that serious. And, like, yeah, it would piss them off, but it shouldn't, because, like, what? Because you guys didn't have chemistry, they're not allowed to have chemistry? That's just selfish.
That's what I always thought. I always thought that it was super selfish to be like, oh, yeah, you don't like me? Well, she's with me, and, like, you're not doing that. And it's just like, Have you and your best friend ever, like, hooked up with the same guy that you didn't know? Like, you went out with the guy, hooked up with him, then months later, she's like, I had a date with this guy, I hooked up with this guy.
One?
Was it weird?
No.
All right.
Seriously, we're both, like, really, like, whatever.
Yeah. It's fun. Me and my best friend, so my best friend is, like, he's a black dude, and we're always worried that we're going to hook, well, not necessarily worried, but we're always like, I wonder if we hooked up with the same person. But the people that go for him are not the people that go for me, and the people that go for me are not the people that go for him.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're always like, I just feel like that would never happen.
Yeah, and her and I have like similar body types. Both have blonde hair. We both have blue eyes. Not an irregular thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, we matched with a lot of the same guys. There was one guy that we both hooked up with that we didn't know until afterwards, and there was one guy that we did know, and we just didn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we do not have a jealous friendship at all. Like,
yeah, I was always wondering about that because I feel like
that's not a typical girl thing, by the way.
Yeah, I don't think that's a typical girl thing.
No. We're just very close, and like it's gonna sound super cliche. I hang out with mainly guys, and so any girls that I hang out with need to be like pretty like chill and like less like jealous and like all of that.
Yeah. So, do you have any like terrible first date stories?
God. I mean, there's the ones where they just don't even show up.
You've been stood up?
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
And it makes you feel like, okay, have you ever seen that episode of Friends where Ross is like being set up with someone and they cancel it, and so they're like, do you think maybe they saw you and then left? It's kind of what you feel like sometimes.
Oh.
There's just people that like are just terrible human, especially here in Los Angeles with all the like actors and everything. There's people that just think that the world should revolve around them and they're the coolest person ever. I went on a date with one guy and he kept telling me how overrated Leonardo DiCaprio is and how he's a better actor, and just like, I mean, on and on and on about it.
Like him, like the guy that's on the date with you is a better actor than Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like talking about how good he looks and how he's so ripped, and like as he was eating, he's like, I only eat protein, because I was like, oh my god, you were the worst. I hate you. Like, this is fucking awful.
And there was no hint towards this before you met?
No.
Oh, that sucks.
And then there was another guy that wasn't from a dating app. We had met at a sports bar, and he actually lives in New York, but he comes to LA a lot for work, and so he was here, and he was like, hey, can I take you out? And I was like, sure. And he took me to a bar. It does not drink, so that was already like awkward. Like, he like bought me a drink, and I was like, oh, you don't drink? We could have met at a coffee shop, or we could have done something else. It's fine. It just always was awkward. And then as we were like sitting on a couch like drinking, he tried to kiss me, and I was like, I don't know you, like, don't kiss me yet. And then like he was like, oh, I'm sorry, and I like went to the restroom, came back, and he tried again, and I was like, get off of me. Like, no.
Yeah, that's always a dicey situation, because I don't drink either. I don't like do any drugs or anything, and it sucks because a lot of times the first date suggestion by a woman is like, let's go get drinks, and like, I don't drink, and then you have to get into a whole explanation of like, why don't you drink? Did you have a problem before? Does your family have problems? Like, this is oddly very personal.
I don't ask those questions just because I have friends that don't drink because they just don't drink. I have one friend that she gets drunk too fast, so she just chooses not to drink. I have another friend that's allergic to alcohol.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same thing when people ask me why I don't smoke. I'm allergic to THC. I don't smoke. Like, I just don't do it. And like, but like, it's not really, I don't know you well enough to like tell you that. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't make me weird that I don't smoke. And like, so I don't hold it, like, my ex-boyfriend, he didn't drink like ever. I think maybe like 3 times in our entire relationship did he have any drinks, but like, he just doesn't like drinking.
Yeah, dude. And then sometimes there's the opposite end of the spectrum where this was a while ago. I was talking to this girl on Hinge, I think it was. And she was like, I'm free like Friday night or whatever. And I wasn't free that day. I was like, we could meet up Sunday in the afternoon or something and just like get food. She was like, well, what are we going to do on a Sunday afternoon? I was like, get food, coffee. I know this is the first time I'm meeting you. And I remember asking her like what her hobbies were, and she was like, I drink. And I was like, that's it? She was like, no, I drink a lot. And so I was like, when she was like, I don't know if we could meet up on Sunday afternoon or whatever. What would we do on a Sunday afternoon? I was like, we could get food, like, and that's when I brought up. I was like, also, I don't drink. I don't know if you saw that on my, because on Hinge you have to have like, do you drink or whatever.
Never use Hinge, but okay.
Oh yeah, you put down like if you drink or whatever. And so I had that on my profile. So I was like, I don't know if you saw this, but I don't drink. So if that's going to be a problem for you, like, it's going to be fine. Maybe we shouldn't go out. She's like, no, I'm down to do that. Like, I just don't think that it would, like, end up with us being in a relationship. But we could hook up or something. And I was like, okay. And then she's like, yeah, but I'd need to, like, I'd want to drink before we hook up. And I was like, do you realize that that's date rape? Like, I would be watching you drink, and then I'm like, all right, cool, let's hook up. Like, I'm not gonna fucking do that.
While you're completely sober.
Yeah.
You signed this consent form for me first, place.
And I do remember her being like, oh, ha ha ha, I never even considered that. Like, you don't fucking consider that.
No, yeah, I mean, and I get it. Like, with my ex, like, it would sometimes he'd be like, oh, well, I don't want to go to a bar. And I'm like, I get that you don't want to go to a bar, but I love karaoke and I love, like, sports.
Yeah.
And I love, like, there's just certain things I love. And so I would always try to pick bars that also had food because he loved to eat. So, like.
Who doesn't love eating?
But I have a friend, though, just so you know, because I agree with what she said with this. I have a friend, and she'll be like, let's get a drink. And when she says let's get a drink, she doesn't necessarily mean alcohol. A drink for her can be a smoothie, a tea, a coffee. Mm-hmm. And she also knows that people don't drink. So she's like, yeah, like, I just want to make sure that they're okay. Like, if we do go to dinner and I have a glass of wine, if they're cool with me having a glass of wine while we're having dinner. Like,
yeah, I feel like it's better to be upfront about that, though.
Yeah.
To be like, I don't drink, so that when I show up to, like, let's get drinks, then it's not like, I tricked you into something, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, see, and that's what I felt with that guy. Is like, he didn't tell me that he didn't drink. I met him at a bar.
Yeah.
And he did not say anything about not drinking. And then he, like, orders me a drink and then doesn't. And I feel like he was trying to get me drunk.
Yeah.
And I was like, after, like, the first drink, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
This is really awkward.
Yeah, it's a fucking bummer, dude.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm always like, let's just get froyo or coffee or something. It's always like okay, well, let's not. And then like some people just feel really uncomfortable about that. And they're like, well, then I don't feel comfortable drinking around you. Or is it cool if I drink? I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, but.
Well, see, and I feel like it's the same, though. I feel like it's the same exact thing as, like, people who, like, love to smoke. I've had guys be really weird that I don't smoke.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, I mean, is it going to be weird for you that I, like, smoke all the time? I was like, my roommates smoke all the time. Mm-hmm. They'll get high in front of me, and I have no issue with someone smoking weed. None whatsoever. I just don't personally do it. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to have an issue with you smoking. Like, if you did coke, we'd probably have an issue. But, like...
Is it cool that I do math?
Yeah, exactly. But, like, if you're smoking weed, like, to me, like... that's your thing. I enjoy a couple glasses of wine. Like, that's fine with me. I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to, like, be weird about it. Like, I'm totally cool with it.
Yeah. That's a very open-minded approach to that. So kudos to you. Okay. Now, those were, like, just really shitty dates, right?
Yeah.
What is your, like, nightmare date scenario aside from, like, being murdered
or, like, raped?
Yeah, obviously. So yeah,
that's always a fear. Let's see. My nightmare date scenario would be if, like, this guy, like, took me somewhere really nice and he decided to take me there, and if he, like, spent all this money and then, like, just bailed out before the check came.
Oh, and then you're stuck with the bill or something? That would fucking suck.
Yeah, that or, like...
Have you ever done that? Where,
no.
You know, you do... I gotta go to the bathroom.
I've never done that.
How many... So you said that you were using, when you were poor, you were kind of, like, using it to get food.
I mean, I matched with people I was actually interested in. But...
Did you match with people that you were, like, not really interested in, but you were like, but...
No, I matched with people I was interested in. I would, remember on OkCupid, because I don't use it anymore. I don't know if you can still do that. You could send like a post that everybody around you could see.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, like people around you could see it, and we did use that. My roommate and I at the time used that to get a guy to come pick us up from Ross to bring all our stuff back to our apartment so that we didn't have to order a Lyft or an Uber, and we bought him dinner.
Well, that's lovely.
Or we made him dinner or something. Yeah, and we were not interested in him at all.
That's a bummer.
We just needed a truck.
Do you remember that story of a woman who didn't grocery shop for like a whole year, and she just used dating apps to get guys to
No, but what a genius.
Yeah, she had like an Excel spreadsheet of all the guys that she was going out with, and she calculated it, and it was something like men had spent $300,000 or $400,000 on dinners for her, and I was just like, wow, what a scumbag.
I mean, yeah, I used it to help feed me for a while, yeah, but like I said, guys I was interested in, and I mean, my mom always taught me, like, don't expect to pay for your first date, however, always have enough money in your account in case you do have to pay.
Yeah.
And then she's like, and if you do have to pay, never date them again.
Well, has there ever been a thing where you're on the date with a person and it's just not going well, and you're just like, you know what, we'll split this, out of courtesy, or no?
I mean, if I feel that way, I'll do the reach.
Yeah, the classic reach.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, even as, I don't know, I've gone on dates where I'm like, this isn't anything, but I still am like, I'll pay for this. Like, it's fine. Yeah. I appreciate you coming out and taking the risk of me being a killer.
Yeah, because honestly, women take more of a risk.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That risk is worth, fucking $15, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and if you don't have a lot of money, then just don't invite me out somewhere expensive. I'm totally fine with a hiking date or something like that, or like a coffee, or like you said, like frozen yogurt or something. Like, I get that for a first date. Or like right now, especially like Corona, like I went on a date with a guy where we did a walk in the park. Just, I'm fine with all that stuff, but like, you don't need to invite me to like a really nice place and then expect me to split, because that's going to have a worse impression than you being like, hey, let's go hiking. Yeah.
So what do you think is, like, once you're on the first date, what are the check marks that you're like, all right, this is going to be a second date?
How many like awkward pauses there are. That's probably the main key. One is like how many awkward pauses there are. How much they steer the conversation to themselves.
Oof.
Because a lot of guys, like I said, a lot of guys in LA will be like, yeah, I'm this, I'm that, I'm so great. And you're just like, and like similar interests. Like if we can keep a conversation because of like something that we were talking about and like we know the same things. Like if we can talk about a similar thing, we're both like really into it. Like that's going to be more so than if someone brings something up and, oh, I've never heard about that. Oh, this. Oh, I've never heard about that. It's like, okay, we obviously do not run in the same circles. Yeah. So it's not going to work out.
So what's your circle?
I don't know. I mean, right now it's more of a social justice warrior type thing because that's all I got. But,
that's all any of us got.
Music is a big deal for me. I really, really like football, which I know as someone who's really into musicians and really, really into indie music, I know that most of the guys that I meet that are going to be like the hipster indie musician guys aren't going to be into football.
Yeah. I was going to say those two groups don't
generally
the
go
Venn
together.
diagram isn't very
yeah, and most of my like big football fans aren't going to be the other way too.
I feel like more football fans would be more into indie as opposed to like indie musicians being into football.
And I agree.
Yeah.
But if I could get both, because those are like my two favorite things to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and travel. Oh, if you're like completely against traveling or like you have no desire to get a passport, no interest in seeing you. It's not going to go anywhere. Promise you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you want to get a passport and you plan to travel, that's cool. But if you're like, oh, I've lived in Los Angeles my whole life and I don't actually want to go anywhere because we live in the best city, I'd be like, how do you know you haven't been anywhere?
Yeah, those people are always interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to go anywhere. It's just going to be fucking worse than here. It's like, you don't know.
You've not been anywhere.
Yeah. What do you think makes you a good person to date? Why would someone be lucky to date you?
Because I'm not ever looking for anything serious, first off. Which, in LA, I don't know if you know this, LA is the number one hookup culture of the U.S.
Is it?
Yeah, with like dating apps and stuff. I read an article about it. Could be wrong now because it was like 2 years ago, but still. I'm not looking for anything serious. However, like I wasn't looking for anything serious when I met my ex, and it just happened. And so I'm also not against something happening. I'm fun. I'm easygoing. I don't like jewelry. I mean, like, I like the jewelry I buy myself, but, like, I don't want a guy to buy jewelry for me. I hate diamonds.
Really? Why?
Because they're not special. There's
Yeah.
nothing special about a diamond. And, like, I'm not going to wear something so expensive when I lose half the shit that I get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty low-key. I like dive bars. So, like, if you did take, like, if someone took me out for a drink, it would be, like, super cheap. I like movies. I'm pretty easygoing until I'm not, and then I'm just like really not. Ask my roommates. I can be a clean freak about things, and then I have like roommate meetings. I'm like, let's assess how we did not put up the dishes correctly.
Are you like the passive aggressive Post-it note putter upper?
No, I will straight up tell someone to their face.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
but
refreshing.
If you don't listen to me whenever I say it to your face, I will. But no, I'm very, very honest to like, that is something that's not good. I'm honest to a fault. But no, I'm fairly easygoing. I like sports. I like outdoors things, but I also like indoor things, and I like to try new things. And so even if it's something that I've never done or like never really had an interest in doing, I'm still willing to try it.
What's something that you've tried that you're like, oh, fuck no, never again?
I'm trying to think. What did I absolutely hate?
You're like, I'm game. Let's fucking do that. And then you're like, oh no, I'm never going laser tagging again.
I love laser tag.
Dude, laser tag is the shit. But that was just an example.
Bowling. I'm trying to think though. I feel like there is something and I just can't think of it. Oh, I don't think disc golf is fun.
Oh, I've never... Well, I just feel like the people that play disc golf are just douches.
I mean, that being
for lack of a better
said,
term.
even though I didn't think it was fun, I would still do it again. Oh, love music festivals, love all of that. Hated Coachella. Coachella's shit.
Really?
Coachella's
Why?
the worst.
Just because you're outdoors and...
No, I love music festivals. I love going outdoors. I love all of that. No, the people are the worst. It's just a bunch of, like, teeny bopper, like, Instagram girls taking a bunch of pictures of themselves half naked. And the sound system is terrible there. Terrible. Hated Coachella.
Okay, what are some of your own, if you want to share some, what do you think are some of your red flags?
Like, about me?
Yeah.
If you don't like anybody loud, I'm the loudest person I know, except for my neighbor, Brenda. If we're in the house together, you can hear us from 2 streets down. No, literally, my dog has a bark collar that makes a sound if, like, it's not shocking. I don't do anything, like, it's a humane bark collar that just makes a sound if he's, like, too loud. And her and I have set it off with him sitting on the couch away from us.
Oh, no.
Because we're so loud. So, like, if he's in the house with us, I have to take it off because I'm like, no, we'll set it off.
I feel like you don't seem that loud. Like,
I'm trying not to be because there's a microphone here.
Okay, yeah.
I swear.
Don't want to peek it.
I had a guy ask me if I had a megaphone in my voice. There are certain things that I'm nitpicky about.
Like
my clean kitchen and stuff like that. And then, like, okay, so I love to debate. People may call it arguing. It is not arguing. It is debate. I like when someone has, like, if you give me, like, your logical reasons of why you're doing this, and, like, you can actually back it up with, like, proof, then I'm cool, and we can, like, debate each other. But, like, sometimes I'll just call people out on their, like, dumbness. Like, if you're like, oh, this is why you should believe in astrology, I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, and I will fight it. So, like, even if I know that I'm right and they're wrong in that, like, I will let them know I'm right.
Dude,
I
me
will keep
too.
arguing until they know that I am right or until they just want to stop the conversation.
I can't tell you how many times I've gotten yelled at by a woman that I was dating to be like, I feel like you care more about being right than my feelings.
Yeah, I do.
And it's like, yeah, but you should want to be right.
Yeah. I am 100% like that. I'm stubborn, but I like to do like debates. Like, I have a friend that we debate each other all the time, and people are like, why are you friends? You argue all the time. And we're like, no, that's one of the reasons we're friends. Like, we enjoy the debate. Like, it's fun.
Well, here's the thing is, like, people have this negative connotation with arguing, and, like, the word arguing is, like, so vilified in culture, but, like, I took, like, 2 years of arguing classes in college, and arguing isn't bad.
That's why I call it debate.
Yeah, like, I feel like you have to say debate now, but arguing is, like, that's how you get to an accord, or just, like, it's a discussion of different opinions. Like, if you're verbally aggressive, that's bad. But arguing, that's not bad, but you have to, like, nerf it now and say that you're debating.
And because when I get really excited, I get really loud. It sounds like I'm yelling at you, but that's just the sound of my voice. Like, and then so I'll have to calm it down and be like, sorry, I'm not yelling at you. I promise that's just my voice. That's just the level it gets to. I'm competitive. So if I'm like playing a board game against you, you might think I hate you by the end of it. My ex used to get really mad when we go to watch football games because I would bash the other team. But I think it's fun. I don't think, like, what's the point of going to a game if you're not, like, trash talking? He'd be like, I'm gonna get my ass kicked by one of these guys one of these days because all you do is talk shit to them. And I was like, because it's fun. If you're not gonna talk shit, what's the point of coming out?
Yeah,
just watch it at home.
That's sports fandom in a nutshell.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's such bullshit. Yeah, dude, I went to it.
No, he was the worst. There's a reason
it all has to be in good fun. Like, you can't be like, that's why your mother fucking hates you. Just like, that's like, whoa. But I would go out and watch games and, like, razz people, but if people get way too upset about it, it's like, dude, it's a sports game. Like, you're not...
I went to a game once when I was 16 with my family, and it was when Jessica Simpson was dating Tony Romo.
Oh, yeah.
And I love Jessica Simpson. And somebody was like, we're losing this game because of fucking Jessica Simpson. I was like, hey, she's not the one playing. And he got, like, in my face. Like really in my face. My dad used to be a boxer, and he's like, look, I don't want to get in a fight, but I used to be a professional boxer. I will hit you.
Yeah.
Get away from my 16-year-old daughter.
Yeah, dude. That's fucking... Like, to be screaming into, like, a teenage girl's face about, like,
he was drunk.
Jessica Simpson and Tony Romo. But, I mean, Texas sports fandom is different.
Well, then, yeah, I've also, like, gotten threatened, like, at a Giants-Cowboys game. The Giants fans are the absolute worst fans ever. They're so mean.
Because I hear that the Eagles fans are
Eagle fans are really bad, too.
Yeah.
But I've just met more nice Eagles fans than, like, Giants fans, but they get, like, right up, like, they got right on our face. Like, they are specifically, but Eagles can be pretty bad, too. I mean, the Eagles fans tore down their own city when they won this championship. Like,
I feel like Eagles fans, like, they have the reputation of being such, like, hardcore fans that now, if you're, like, talking shit with them, it's kind of like they feel the pressure of that, like, the reputation, that they're like, all right, I guess I have to be a fucking asshole when they even don't want to be. And it's just, it's unnecessary. It's so unnecessary.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we've been talking for a while, and I'm going to ask you the last 2 questions that I ask everybody before we wrap things up. First question, who is a celebrity that you think would be in your league if they weren't a celebrity? Like, the hottest one that you could...
If they weren't a celebrity?
Yeah.
They would... Okay. Because normally it would be Jeff Goldblum, but I don't think I would act... I think he's sexy, but I don't think I would see him on the street and be like, oh, I have to...
Well, Jeff Goldblum has a thing for, like, younger women, apparently.
He's married.
I knew a girl that I dated. She would always see Jeff Goldblum in New York, and he was always with, like, teenage girls and shit. And it was like... She always felt a little weird about it.
Yeah. But no, he would usually be my number one.
But like if it's someone that I would just see on the street that happens to be a celebrity.
No. They're not a celebrity.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like if they weren't a celebrity, it'd be someone I saw on the street or something. He's not a big celebrity. Colin, oh my God, O'Donoghue. He was in Once Upon a Time. He played Captain Hook. And he's
that
like
ABC show?
Yes. He played Captain Hook, and he's one of the sexiest men I've ever seen in my life.
I feel like everybody's got to Google this guy now because I definitely don't know who he is.
Okay, then out of people know Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling, okay.
Yeah.
That's definitely a person somebody knows. Yeah. I feel, and somebody else, when I asked this question, somebody else picked Ryan Gosling, and I'm of the opinion that I think it's more the aura about him.
It is.
That is like sexy as opposed to like classic looks.
It's the way he dresses and the way he presents himself.
He's a very sharp man. It
is so sexy.
Yeah.
Although I just imagine him being the character from Crazy Stupid Love. But to me, it's just anytime I've seen photos of him around, he just dresses well and he just holds himself really well, and girls are just really into a really confident man.
I could see that. I saw a picture of him where it was celebrities with certain deformities or something, and he has one of his eyes is higher than the other, and I can't unsee that now. So I'm
okay with
I just don't get it, Ryan Gosling. But yeah, there's another second Ryan Gosling on the podcast.
And you'll probably get more.
Probably.
Yeah.
All right, last question before we wrap things up is, what's one piece of advice that you'd like to give everyone listening about dating?
If you're on Bumble, don't just send a dick pic. It's not going to get you anywhere. I promise.
Solid advice from Caila. Well, Caila, do you have anything else that you want to say before wrapping it up?
No, I feel like the more girls you're going to talk to right now are going to have more of the same experiences, because guys have just gotten weirder since the quarantine.
I feel like everybody's desperate. Everyone's just no one's seen my dick in months.
Yeah, exactly.
I just need it to be out there. Well, Caila, thanks so much for doing the show. I really appreciate it. And there you have it, everybody. That was my chat with Caila. Hope you enjoyed it. I did. It was nice to get back to the way the Dating is Hard podcast was meant to be done. Complete strangers that I have no prior connection to, met through dating apps. It's awesome. I'm glad that I got to talk with Caila. It's great. Good to get back to normal, at least a little bit. So if you want to check out more information about the show, datingishardcomedy.com. Follow the Instagram at datingishardcomedy. You can follow me on Instagram at Joe Welkie. That's where I post all the updates about it. You can email in to the email account, datingishardcomedy@gmail.com, or go to the website, and there's a contact form there for all of your contact needs. Rate and review, share, subscribe, all that stuff that makes podcasts big. Let's try to get to 100. We're at 89 right now. That's 11 more 5-star reviews. That'd be great to get to 100. I'd feel so good about life if we could get there. So yes, please do that. And that wraps it up. So until next time, guys, later.